When Ayrton Senna said this,
So even when I have some problems, I look always to the next race. Because maybe one race I have no chance, but next one or the next 5 will be good against one bad one. So you got to try to make the numbers bigger and bigger.
he might have been intentionally or unintentionally describing something very close to the law of the larger numbers. In racing terms, it means this. Over a large number of races, your performance will converge to your actual skill level, and impact of the lucky or unlucky races will become smaller. So, when you reach a new rank or I rating, it doesn't necessarily mean your skill fully reflects that. Or when you drop down, it also doesn't necessarily mean that your skill suddenly got worse. The problem starts when we begin to misread those short-term results. Overestimating and underestimating our skills can be really harmful for our performance. If you overestimate your skill when your actual ability is lower than your rank, you can fall into what's often described as kind of metacognitive inability. You will stop recognizing your own mistakes. And when that happens, you lose the ability to reflect on your performance accurately. That often leads to unnecessary risk, like unsafe driving or overconfidence in situations you are not ready for. On the other side, there's underestimation. If your skill is actually higher than your rank, you can fall into what I call competence trap. You start performing below your actual level. You hesitate more, you take fewer opportunities, and sometimes assume that if something's easy for you, it must be easy for someone else, which can distort how you judge the situations. So both sides, overestimation and underestimation, pull you away from your actual performance. To avoid that, first step is what Senna said: you need to make numbers bigger. Before judging your performance or where you stand compared to others, you need a larger sample. 1 week, 1 month of race doesn't mean that much. To avoid falling into those traps, you need to zoom out. If you are looking at your rank, going up and down in a single day or in a week or in a month, it's easy to overreact. You might think you are improving fast or getting worse, when in reality is these data points are just noise. But if you look at your performance over 3 months, over a year or half a year, you will get much clearer picture. You will start to see trends instead of fluctuations, and that gives you better information on where you actually need to improve. To improve, you can categorize your performance into 3 buckets. Bucket A, where you perform at your best. Bucket B is your average performance. Bucket C is your worst performance. These buckets usually form a bell curve, where you mostly in bucket B and occasionally in A and C. After you feel like you performed in bucket A or bucket C, it's really important to write it down. What were the variables behind that performance? For example, after a C performance, you might write, I was tilted after losing positions at the start. I did not qualify well and I couldn't get through the traffic. By writing these down, you are creating a reflection, and honestly, writing it down is already half of the solution. When you understand what puts you in the bucket C, you can start avoid or fix them. And same goes for bucket A. What made that performance happen and how you can repeat it. Over time, the goal is to improve your performance by removing data points from bucket C and adding into more bucket A. So, over the time, this will create a new distribution. Your old bucket A will become your new bucket B, and your old average, bucket B, will become your new bucket C, which is your old average will be your worst, and this cycle will continue. Which brings back to the beginning of the video when Senna said,
So you got to try to make the numbers bigger and bigger.